Okay, today's topic is menopause. It's a tricky topic. It's a tricky one to discuss. Everyone's experience is different. I think it's not talked about often, and I think that's because it's personal. And even though we often find it joked about a lot, it's really not a joking matter. It really is a hard time for so many of us. So today I want to be able to share my experiences, what I've learned along the way, what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, in the hope that it's just we can start a conversation about it. And when I started my YouTube channel way back 6 years ago, that was one of the things that was so important when I jumped on and talked about tricky topics was I'm just here to start a conversation. And I think that's really important that we can feel free to discuss things that aren't normally discussed. So that's what we're doing here today. And let me start out by saying that when menopause came knocking at my door, I was ready with my no vacancy sign. No vacancy for energy loss, no vacancy for brain fog, no vacancy for sneaky weight gain, no vacancy for exhaustion, and definitely no vacancy for chaos. I didn't want any of it. And first of all, I heard nothing about it, and I asked my sisters about it, and I said, tell me about menopause. And they just didn't tell me anything. My mum didn't tell me anything. No one talked about it. Weight gain, brain fog, fatigue. How bad was it for you? And everyone sort of just didn't really explain. So I was still in the dark with it. So I just sort of got myself as prepared as I could for it. I didn't diet harder. I didn't exercise more. But what I did do was purposely change the way I lived. And so I want to share that with you today because whether you are about to go through menopause, going through menopause, or post-menopause, I think some of the things that we discussed today may be helpful to you. And if not what I'm talking about, maybe what others in the comments will share their experiences and will help you as well. And that's the benefit of a community, that we can help each other. So I knew my body was about to change. I knew from my mum's sort of timeline and my sister's timeline that it was all about to happen for me. I had sort of been experiencing perimenopause, and just the way my periods and things were going, I could tell that things were happening and I was ready for it. So I have experienced many of the menopause symptoms. However, I put things into place to safeguard myself so that if I felt myself being affected or falling into, I pulled back. There were many times throughout my menopause years that I almost burnt out with the same workload, but I kept getting close to exhaustion and burnout. I couldn't sleep like I used to be able to sleep. I couldn't eat for comfort anymore if I was stressed out. Pasta, pizzas, cakes, whatever that you would often go to for comfort, if I just looked in their direction, they would have not the same effect as they used to. And not so easy to burn off again like they used to be. And if I wasn't mindful of the foods I was eating, the weight would pile on so quickly, which is something I wasn't actually used to. So that's when I realized, it's not really genetics. It's something that we need to be mindful about. It's your body telling you that things have to be different from now on. Maybe it's your body calling out and saying, I'm getting older. I need nourishment. I need karma, and I need more love. I'm getting older. I need more support from you. I've let you get away with so many rascally things in the past, but now I need more support. You need to support me, or I'm going to warn you that you need to support me. I like to think of it a bit like that. So what I decided was I wanted to be in control of the midlife, not have it control me. I wanted to be able to, nourish myself the best way that I could, even with life challenges, which we've talked about in the last 2 episodes. And to do that, I needed to change how I lived my life, and specifically how I put boundaries in place. I think that is a really big key to this, is new boundaries that you need to put in place to look after yourself. Okay, so before we go any further, those of you who don't know me, I'm Michelle Boyle. I'm a mum of 4. I'm a health coach and I'm a life coach, and I'm a professional organizer, and I help overscheduled mums get on top of their schedules so that they can be more present for their families. Job that I'm very, very passionate about. And my motto really is, if I can just help one person today, then I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy. Right. So before we get too zesty and move on, I just want to say this as well. I know some of my gorgeous listeners out there, some of you are dealing with chronic pain, some of you are dealing with fatigues, some of you are dealing with disabilities and personal challenges and health challenges that make some of the things that we talk about in these episodes really challenging, or in some cases impossible. And that makes some of these conversations hard. But I just want you to know that I see you and I honor where you're at, and I'm just so glad to have you here. and together we can support each other in whatever our journey in life is. So I just wanted to reach out and say that to my friends. And also for everyone else, I'm sharing not a one-size-fits-all plan. This is just what worked for me, and I'm going to get a little bit more specific about it. And when it comes to weight, as a health coach, I just want to say to you that not one size fits all. Everyone's experiences are different, especially with around weight gain. And after years of helping women through health and life transitions, one thing I know for sure is that a lot of weight gain and weight conditions can be caused from past traumas or medical conditions or health conditions or things that are not in our control. It's not just about willpower. It really isn't. So I just want to say that before we get started, because I will be talking about foods and things and foods that I choose to eat and the way that I choose to look after myself. But really, I'm always coming from a basis of energy, because I need a lot of energy to do the work that I do, and also from a health perspective as well, because we are getting older and we are more susceptible to the challenges that life brings with our health as we get older. So I just wanted to say that before we get started. So please just take what helps and leave the rest. So how did I stay on top of my health and energy through menopause and post-menopause? So here's what I did. I like to keep my body feeling really strong and my mind feeling really alive. And I mean, that sounds a little bit woo-woo, doesn't it? A little bit. But anyway, I'll tell you what I mean. So it wasn't ever about being perfect, because I'm not perfect, but it was about creating a life or a new system that accepted the changes that my body and myself and my brain and everything was going through, and let it align with the life that I still wanted to have and the goals that I kept presenting to myself and just the energy that I wanted to take out into the world. So let's talk about 5 things that I did. Now, the first thing that I did was I definitely did not look at calories. Like, I knew that weight gain or that foods weren't going to sit as well. I could tell that foods weren't sitting as well with me as they used to. I could tell foods that made me feel bloated, that made me feel brain fog. And I started to make note of those. And I started to make sure that I had food in my life that I knew was nourishing, that I knew was good, that it was good for my brain, that it had good nutrients, that I was nourishing my body. I wanted to make sure that I got as much of the good stuff in every day. And then I could have also the foods that I loved. And I felt that if I was giving my body the nutrition and then I had the energy, so then I'd be more zesty and bouncy, that naturally that would keep the movement going that you need to stay healthy as well. So I realized that energy was a true measure of health, not steps and not weight, but how much energy I had and how good I felt when I woke up in the morning. Because, we all start to feel a bit achy and that as we get older. But if I got up and I felt great, that was a measure of how things were going for me. And then if I did wake up flat, it was asking myself, what do I need today? Am I dehydrated from yesterday's work? Did I not rest well? Did I not get enough sleep? And that's been a big thing for me, is really working on my sleep. Am I lacking energy because I need to get out and get some fresh air? I've been working too much inside. Is the emotion of the things that life's presenting to me at the moment, do I need to just go and watch a sad movie and have a good cry? Or do I need to put some ABBA on and have a good boogie? What is it that my body needs today? What is it that my spirit needs today? Okay, the other thing I did was to be able to focus on my health and to be able to focus on myself and still keep all the other balls of life as a mum and as a working mum up in the air. I needed to simplify everything. I needed to reduce chaos. And we are a family of 6 and a dog. And so chaos was sort of around a lot because we all have busy schedules. And so I needed to simplify our life as much as possible. And that meant less clutter, fewer commitments, like cutting down, saying yes to all the things that came my way, and really simplifying meals. Because stress and cortisol are very sneaky things, and they are the things that can stand in our way with weight gain as well. We can eat all the salads and green food that we want, but if our bodies are stressed, it's going to hang on to weight, and it's going to hang on to those pesky kilos that we may have put on through whatever it was that we went through. It's going to hold on to it really tight. So creating an environment or creating a lifestyle that's like very stress-free is very, very helpful to sending your body the message that we've got this under control, like trust. And then for you to move out of that fight, flight life and move into something a little bit more calmer. So stress and cortisol can cause brain fog, exhaustion, and yes, they can add the kilos to you and they can hold on to unwanted kilos for you as well. So less stress is best. Not always possible, but always a goal to work towards. So number 3 is I fed my body the best food that I could. And I'm not perfect. I know a lot of good foods that nourish my body. I know which foods suit my body. When I was a health coach, everyone's plans were different. There isn't one diet or one way of eating that works for everybody. It's more about having to create something that works for you. And so I always start with foods that suit us, that we love, that we know nourish our bodies, and get those into the body every day. And then what else that you might feel like, or even if you need a treat, that's okay, because you've already nourished and given your brain and your body the food that it needs first. You looked after yourself first. And I love that idea. And that's the idea that I live by. And it's not just about food either. It's also about your energy. It's about getting out in the sun, or it's about watching programs that make you laugh out loud. So good for your spirit, so good for de-stressing. It's about I'm learning this at the moment, it's about having slow mornings where you just potter around the house and you don't have any plans. You might do this and you might do that. You might do a bit of washing, but you might not. You might bake some muffins, you might make a phone call, you might contact a friend. You just allow yourself to be. Slow mornings, they are just the best. It's all about what fuels your spirit and also fuels your body as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a list of the foods that I try and incorporate into my diet, if not every day, every other day, so that I know that my body is getting the foods that work for me. Now, these foods all work for me. They're all known to be nutritious foods, but they may not suit you for whatever reason. That's fine, but I'm just going to give you my list. And maybe there's something in there that you go, oh yeah, that's right, I might get back onto that. So here we go. Okay, blueberries, turmeric, almonds, and just your real raw nuts. Okay, leafy greens. Yes, we need our leafy greens. So avocado, eggs, great source of choline. Greek yogurt or kefir, which is good for your gut health. Kimchi or sauerkraut. Now, I often like to have a sprinkle of granola. Oats are just, for me, they're too rough on my gut. They just hurt my gut so much. They make me bloated and they give me pain. So anything like oats is just too rough for me, which is mostly because even though a lot of them say they're unprocessed, they have been processed in some ways. But what I find is okay is like a natural granola. Pumpkin seeds, yes, these little bad boys are the best. Dark chocolate goes without saying. And herbal teas are really good as well. I try and remember to swap up a couple of, I do like coffee, I have to admit, it's one of my things. But I try and swap them out in the afternoon for things like herbal tea. And some of them are just actually blends. So yeah, I love my herbal teas. And then, this is where I would say that obviously, lean proteins, vegetables, all the crucifix vegetables like your broccolis and your cauliflowers and all that group of vegetables, so good for you. And then the big one is salmon or fish. And I don't like fish. So instead I take a fish oil supplement. I take a few supplements, but one of the ones I take every day is a good fish oil supplement. So once again, it's not about perfection. It's about building a lifestyle around foods that you love, foods that your body needs for nutrition, and mostly foods that give you energy and make you feel great. So you can just do all of the things that you want to with your life. I think that's really important. Okay, number 4 is I move my body. I move my body with joy, not with pressure. So I am not exercising enough. That is one of my downfalls at the moment, is I don't do enough exercise, and I haven't for years and years. And I really need to make sure that I'm walking every day, because I think that's the best sort of exercise when you've got a busy schedule, clears your mind or clears your head. And I think it's good for you, get out in the fresh air. But I'm not doing that at the moment. I'm also not doing my hand weights that I'm supposed to be doing, that I really want to. My mum used to teach me to do them every morning in front of the mirror. So I need to get back to that. I'm definitely getting the saggy underarms for sure. So I need to get back to that. And I just need to get back to some toning or some yoga or something like that. So that is an area that I'm really bad at the moment. But I do dance a lot, if you probably notice. I love to dance and muck around. I love to cartwheel in the backyard. I love to do crazy things. So I move a lot. Okay, and the final thing, this sort of may seem unrelated, but I think it's really important, is I learned to, through this time, protect my peace a lot more. And it's a hard one to talk about this one. It's a big one. It's a big one. Learning to say no and not overcommitting. I always was someone that, wanted to be the one to help everybody. And so I said yes to everything, putting other people's things ahead of my own needs. And so I've learned that I can't do that anymore. And you learn that because you get run down and you get burnt out and you get to a point where your body you can't get out of bed one morning, and you realize that once you're over 50 and once you've hit menopause, your body is really sending you a message, and you can't get away with what we used to get away with. We just can't. So learning to say no to the clutter, the chaos, that we just need a quieter, simpler life, and saying no to the pressure to constantly do more. I have to stop myself. There are so many things that I want to do, but what happens is I can end up doing so much and not enjoying anything. So learning to actually be present in the things that I want to do rather than go from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. And that's been something that I've had to learn and had to slow down enough to learn. So I can do things that drain me. I can do things that exhaust me, but I need to learn to fill myself back up again, to take a day, to have a calm day, to take a day, as I said before, to have a slow day, to have an afternoon sleep, to read a book, to then refill myself to go again. I don't know, I used to be able to go, but now I can't as much without refilling. So that's something that I have to be mindful of. And now that I am, it's working so much better for me. So yes, when I hit menopause, I did say no vacancy. I did make a commitment even before I hit menopause that there would be no vacancy to weight gain. There would be no vacancy for lack of energy. There would be no vacancy for exhaustion. That I would tackle with the best that I could. I would tackle these things as they came up and make sure that I was doing everything that I could. If we can do better to make life better for ourselves, I think we should. We should try, because it's hard. It's really hard to do all the things I talked about today. It's hard. We're busy people, but we have so much to lose if we don't. We can't take those risks that we used to, I don't believe. I think we have to really look after ourselves after 50. So if you're in this season right now, maybe your hormones are shifting, you can feel that. Maybe your body's feeling differently. Maybe you're bloating more than you used to. Maybe you can't sleep as well. Maybe you're getting sweaty like I did for months on end. Maybe your energy just feels off. Just remember this. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to make the changes that we need to make for ourselves to head towards better health, whatever that looks like for you. And also to be not perfect, but to be present in our lives. I think your body listens when you start to look out for yourself and start to look after yourself. And I think it just starts working better for you. So I'm hoping that after listening to this, you might put your own no vacancy sign up that says something along the lines of no vacancy for stress, guilt, burnout, exhaustion, only room for zest. So this episode had a lot in it. It was quite hard for me. It was quite emotional for me to do this episode for so many reasons, because I want to share this and I'm mindful of sharing this, and I'm mindful of that because we are all so different, that some people are in different situations, and I appreciate and respect that. So I just hope that you might be able to get something from this that's useful. That's my goal. So until next time, protect your energy, simplify what really matters, and keep choosing zest. All right, until next time. Mwah. See you then.